Ryan Clark, Emmy Award winning. I know how much I look forward to these segments.
Yeah.
I know how busy you are on Monday, but it's fun to get a chance to run these back and do it. You got a tape on Jordan Mason we're going to get to in a moment. I just want to get your thoughts on Rodgers and what we saw, because that drive, when it's humming, you're like, here we go. But did you see a man that looked comfortable at all times on the field tonight?
You know what? He didn't. When the San Francisco 49ers, he mentioned the soft coverage they played. When the San Francisco 49ers were making Aaron Rodgers hold the football, he looked a little jumpy in the pocket. He never quite got settled, as if he was trying to make sure he'd get the football out of his hands. And we talked about it before the game. Like, there's going to be some discomfort after not playing for 610 days. But I do believe as Aaron Rodgers begins to settle in, and some of those new offensive linemen settle in as well, he'll get more comfortable in what he's doing inside the pocket. And I think once he starts to get that feel back, we can see a more consistent Aaron Rodgers. The drive he talked about, the protection being great. We watched him get it out of his hands quickly. We didn't see that throughout the rest of the game.
I'll tell you what, though, that Tennessee defense is nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, Chicago didn't win that game yesterday because of their offense. That's next. I don't believe New England's next. And look what they did against Cincinnati. So you're going up against three really good defenses right out of the chute for Aaron Rodgers. But I love what he said at the top about gratitude. I think it's an important thing for everybody. Just you wake up in the morning, man, you're grateful for the day that you have in front of you. His included a chance to get back on the field tonight. We didn't know when we woke up this morning that Jordan Mason was going to be the guy that was going to start tonight. Maybe he did, but at some point he found out, you're the guy tonight. What did he show everyone? Those UDFAs sometimes.
Hey, every now and then you get you one.
A little hungry now.
You know, it was great because what they did without Christian McCaffrey was use Jordan Mason to be the downhill runner. You heard George Kittle say they simplified it, and then they got on the edges with Deebo Samuel. Let's look at the two touchdowns from the team tonight when they ran the football. Here is going to be early with Deebo Samuel. And at this point, Jordan Mason is running the football extremely well. There was actually a 22-yard touchdown that was called back. After you get this motion, they're trying to see what sort of defense they're in on the other side. So then you're going to get a jet sweep, and out of the jet sweep, Juwan Jennings is going to lead upfield, and then you're going to get a kick out by George Kittle. Okay, here, let's start the play. Here, you're going to see Deebo Samuel comes in motion. He gets the jet sweep. Okay, let's pause it here. Now, this is where George Kittle is going to create a chasm or a hole for Deebo Samuel to run through. And you see, once George Kittle gets the kick out, Deebo Samuel now with the physical run as he runs over Chuck Clark to getting an end zone as you watch this play finish. These were the type of plays that they used Deebo Samuel for, who I talked to, and he told me he had to learn about 30 run plays that were put in once they found out Christian McCaffrey would be questionable for this game. Now, watch this play. We saw in the last play, George Kittle and Juwan Jennings were integral in getting Deebo Samuel into the end zone. Now, Deebo Samuel gets in it. He's going to get a crack down here. George Kittle's going to fold back to the middle, and when he folds back, that's when we're going to see Jordan Mason hit here and then get the cutback to score the touchdown. Now, as you let it play, this is why the San Francisco 49ers are so successful. They have skill players that get to the second level and get blocks. Here, you see Deebo Samuel, he's going to fit in right here, and George Kittle fit in as well. Jordan Mason set a tone. You know, every now and then, it's not about what the X's and O's say. It's about the physicality in which you play. And his style of running, though different than Christian McCaffrey, may have been better tonight against the Jets, who have C.J. Mosley and Quincy Williams, who love to go sideline to sideline and make plays. This was one of those games where you had to be a tooth chipper, and Jordan Mason was the greatest tooth chipper of them all.
And Christian McCaffrey, he might just be singular, Ryan, in terms of his ability to impact the game from that position, both in the running and the passing game. They threw it to Mason once tonight.
Yeah.
When he's healthy, he's the guy. However, when you demonstrate the ability to answer the call in the manner that Mason did against this team on this stage, in the room, how does that change the way people look at this player and what he's capable of being to the team?
Well, what it does is it says maybe we don't have to use Christian McCaffrey all the time. Maybe we can spell him. It's obviously never going to be backed by committee when the best running back in the game is on your team. But if you have drives or if you have different packages that allows Jordan Mason to get some of those touches, to take some of those hits and some of that physicality off of Christian McCaffrey in the meat of the season, then what sort of player can he be down the stretch? What sort of player can he be in the playoffs? And I think we've seen this with so many different teams, having two running backs who can do different things and utilizing them both. Now, obviously, Christian McCaffrey can run it. He can split out. He can catch the ball from the backfield. But what we saw from Jordan Mason today is the tone-setting type of running style that I think becomes huge in the goal line, 3rd and short, 4th and short, and also in games where you need that physicality.
Looking at the box score when it's done, and we talked about this so much both on and off the air tonight, that this Jet team was able to lean into its defense last year in spite of the fact that their O-line play and quarterback play was just abysmal, and their defense gave them chances. Well, tonight, their defense wasn't able to keep. I mean, they forced a bunch of field goal attempts. Otherwise, this is a enormous blowout. But I'm curious if anything that you saw was concerning tonight from the Jets defense in terms of what they couldn't do.
It was concerning because normally the Jets defense is full of enforcers, right? It's full of guys that know a way to stop the bleeding, because this team has been bleeding out for the last 2 years. Last 3 years, they had quarterbacks who couldn't make plays, an offense that couldn't move the ball. And every year we sat there, we said, if they could just have a competent offense or a quarterback that resembles a little professionalism at the position, this could be a Super Bowl caliber team.
Right.
Tonight, this defense wasn't Super Bowl caliber. This defense didn't play with the level of physicality you need to play with in order to be championship caliber. And so I think Robert Saleh is going to have to go back and say, hey, we can't let up just because 8 is on the field. And I do think sometimes that sense of security or the sense of urgency when you know you need every play makes you play a little differently. They learned tonight that if they don't come out with their best stuff, they can be dominated as well.
Well, maybe it's just the fact that the team they're playing tonight is Super Bowl caliber on offense, even without Christian.
Didn't they look good?
They really did.
Like, this was one of those, it's hard to say statement win in the first week.
I agree.
Right, but you talked about how do you rebound after a Super Bowl loss? What do you learn about yourself through that process? I think they learned that if we're consistent and we execute the way we're supposed to, we can beat anyone.
At some point today, I said I was going to bring it up. I'm going to bring it up here. Xander Schauffele, a guy that plays golf, he was close to winning majors and he didn't. And he just said, you know what I'm going to keep doing? Playing exactly the way I play, because I believe eventually it'll be enough. Then he went and won the PGA, and then 2 majors later, he won the Open Championship. I believe this is a team, if they just keep doing what they're doing, eventually, inevitably, they're going to add to the Super Bowl championship pile, which already includes 5. Ryan Clark with me on Monday nights. Appreciate you as always.
Thank you, brother.